Al pie del Ávila majestuoso, a 920 metros sobre el nivel del mar, en un valle de verde geografía que se abre de este a oeste, surge Caracas, la capital de Venezuela.
And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Go get some!
What is up, everybody? My name is Rafael Chacines Noves, el Capitán Rafucho, and this is another episode of The Combat Club. Now, before the show, The Combat Club, I just wanted to make very sure about the last announcement. Because if you guys remember what happened last Sunday, and of course last Monday, yes, I have a mental breakdown and I need help. And thanks to some persons who totally reached me out to help me out through and through, because I know that I have some good days, bad days, but I know that I'm keeping 100. So I know that I was taking like a little break of streaming because I had to do with several things about my family, my mental health, and of course, all things about the friends, because the health, family, and friends are always the first, which is very important. So I just wanted to make very sure, because I'm gonna be really okay, because to be honest right now, Capitán Rafucho is not dead. He's not dead. No, he's still alive, but of course, he still provide better content, and of course, he's not gonna leave it. Not gonna leave it right now. So make sure to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. Also, you can follow me on different social media. Twitter as known as at Capitán Rafucho, on Instagram at Capitán Rafucho 93, on Kick at Capitán Rafucho 93, and of course, if you wanted to help this stream or this platform, you can make a donation by Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, because I know that I'm not bringing the soundboard because sometimes the internet and the computer wasn't that really good. So let's make it around this one. And first and foremost, I just wanted to tell you, between for the UFC 320, it was just like masterpiece. It was just like a blast. Very blessed at all. And I just see like great matches from the beginning to the end, and I was really impressed. And then the revenge coming up there, which is very, very good. So first and foremost, we got to review the UFC 320 of Las Vegas with the first one of the main card, Joe Pyfer, the body bag from New Jersey, versus Abus Magomedov. Because I got to tell you for this one now, very quick. Abus always wins. Even after a good round on the ground of the first one, he shouldn't shot for a takedown early on the second. It's time to ask for the first round fights. If they do fight for mains, must do for one preliminaries. And he fights with a strength like everybody else. But Joe Pyfer fights with a strength of 100 childhood traumas. He can play more than the soap opera divorce. And he was just like, to be honest right now, Abus Magomedov, he was really gas. His face at the start of the round 2 would have what you're thinking it was round 8, and it was locked in. And Pyfer really wanted to say, fuck your wrestling. It started throwing haymakers, which is like, man. And he showed out technical progress and overcome the Piper strength. And Magomedon, he looked good in the first round until he remembered he really sucked in the second round. So it's just like reality check. Wins the first round, proceeds to fall the pressure at the second. Just like against Sean Strickland, which is like, wow, they proceed like one of the worst guests ever. Like everything could happen like this one. So I understand about it. I understand, but but man, what can I tell you about this right now? Sounds like really ridiculous, but Joe Piper got a lot of great victory coming up there. I mean, Abbas has a really poor gas tank, and he just started with the second backing off of the fans when Piper was most dangerous, and bam, they can all guarantee about that. You can all guarantee about that. All right, so next up, we got Joseph Salal versus Josh Emmett. And let me tell you for this right now. I was really impressed about Joseph Salal getting the beat out of Josh Emmett. I mean, that was really insane at all. And I was just like, man, this rookie beat out is better than called Josh Emmett. I was just like, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. And didn't even know how to react. I mean, didn't seem like anyone but the fighters and the referee realized what happened. I mean, neither of them really took damage. And Emmett just could have fight as well. But there was just like another guy to Jerry to duck. Could be like this one. And it was just like a perfect submission. Just like perfect. And it was just like so easy. And then the crowd still doesn't know what happened. Just like really confused. I mean, first subs in his last 5 fights and UFC return. This all got rage over one fight like Batista, even Kazmat. I mean, Salah, it became like an assassin mode. Very underrated, took Ilya to the decision. And I believe that the only opponent that Ilya hasn't rocked in his MMA career. And how just did it in 3 minutes that he could in 25. Because people use Ilya was young to why Salah will give it a difficult fight, but they're on the same age. They're on the same age. I mean, Salah has very quiet phenomenon since he left the UFC and came back. I mean, there was just like a lot of effort. And whoever the Burrow tab, the way we wants way more than in comparison, it was a Moroccan guy over American, so probably that too. But they were just like smoother than butter. Holy snap. And I was just like, man, it was just like a really upset. But anyways, it was just like a fair game. He knew he had to go over and beyond this last fight, and he just did that. I mean, the way Josh went to the distance is so lazy. And people kept shitting on Sehel because of the Calvin Qatar fight. And he's legitimately a good fighter. I mean, I love that. I really love that. And to be honest, right now, it was like, man, amazing right now. And that was very impressive. And the guy that went to the decision, Ilya, and finished Emmett, they're going to be the contender for the next title. I presume this is going to be very, very interesting because I know sometimes American crowds are really fickle, but that was like an amazing performance by Salal. And they still blow into the calls that are like screaming off of the USA, USA. But it means sometimes that really doesn't work at all. It doesn't really work at all. All right, next up. We got to recap an amazing fight, which is like, it became the fight of the night. It became the fight of the night. Even my eyes, I couldn't figure it out. I mean, that was just like amazing between Jiri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree Jr. And I was just like, man, what an amazing fight. What an amazing fight against Khalil Rountree Jr. And I wasn't expected about this. Wasn't expected. because everybody thought that Khalil Rountree Jr. was gonna be one of those guys who wants to avoid the chaos. But at the end of the day, that's one of the best things that I ever see in my whole life. And it was just like that Derek Lewis has an ability to just decide to win. I mean, he just went for like cruising victory to look at it. He attacked with a samurai sword. I mean, that happened to Khalil Rountree Jr. I mean, Khalil looked so good for the first two. They looked so drained, but he was hoping it can grow too. I mean, one that's going to happen through Jiri. I mean, Khalil was going to come back, probably the stars and winning the game, but that one earns the respect everyone. I mean, he's really faster than pretty much everyone. Both hand speed and blazing speeds. He slowed down to the guys who fights usually adjust for the space. I mean, if you don't finish a round for the first 2 rounds, it's gonna be like a really, really long night. Really long night. And that Jiri Prochazka was a warrior. And his chin is fucking insane. I mean, he became like a monster when damage which is fucking crazy. And you gotta beat Poitin and actually kill him, then give it down to the little fuck. I mean, the both of them, that was like a hell of a fight. That was just like hell of a fight. And I limited to it. Limited to it. And he just know how to fucking that win was that really insane. I mean, there's one of those characters that absorb damage to use these UTL, which is the only way to beat him with one shot at enough DPS, which is, well, if you know this, but that was just like the fucking war cry, the start, like the Pulse fight interview was way loud. That was just like because, but it ain't both the technique to power to do it. Kelly had only the technique and could have put him before Jiri was powered it down. That was just like, man, now that's a real fighter. And I was really impressed because between for that fight, Jiri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree Jr., I thought they have so much aura in this fight. I thought Khalil Rountree Jr. was going to be like the fighter who can avoid the chaos, and Jiri Prochazka to say, I'm going to bring the chaos. Using the leg kicks, using the submission, using the knockouts, the punch, the double jab. I was just like very impressed at all. I was just like blowing up in my mind. And it was just like perfect. That was just like one of the best fights that I ever see in my whole life, which is totally amazing. Totally amazing. But I know it was just like, man, that was a great one. That was a great one. All right, so next up, Merab Dvalishvili just won, and he's still the UFC bantamweight champion against Corey Sandhagen. And to be honest, right now, I mean, Corey looked better than Umar in the last rounds against Merab, which he didn't anything. He was throwing 30 punches, 30% of after like those punches. And you can see like at round 5 when he got surprised with Kurt Kunstein with the shots for the first time. And he was throwing jabs in the body in the last round. And he did nothing to try and win the fight. I mean, when did they get anything? I mean, why Umar's guessing like fish out of the water while Corey on the other hand didn't like to work too? Why? Because he didn't look at her fresh? I mean, the cult for like the fan base or one of those Dagestan guys has finally losing to be insane. I mean, Merab has looked better and better and better each time he fought, which has been stepped twice to now Umar's hero. And Umar couldn't do like anything when Merab was stabbed and it wasn't 100% himself. I mean, Corey nearly got finished by strikers in the first fight against Merab. Even he did the worst. Even Peter Yan did me better. But if we ignore that he performed way better than anyone else against Merab, he actually didn't get completely cardio. He didn't look tired even around 5 and just saying for like a rematch. That probably they're gonna find a way to win, but yeah, that's not that really happened when it comes to anything. That was just like Probably they're gonna make it at all. Probably they shouldn't. Probably they won't shoot it. But man, I know there's gonna be like a really stiff at all for like all around for the competition coming up there, which is like, man, I know the Marav Debashili, it was like totally great. I mean, I know there is a lot of haters coming up there, but I've been seeing like the game plan of Marav Debashili. He really does it again. Really does it again. And is the king of bantamweight. Even Sean O'Malley praised Marav Debashili as the GOAT of the bantamweight division. I mean, the only way to beat Marav is missing out wrestling with the strike lead. If you plan to stake up takedowns or you're around at a time, but even the odds could be anything better. Someone has to like, get shredded too, because he didn't slow down much either. He was like, holy shit, into the fight. Because I know Hensei Hangen's issue that he doesn't empty the tank ever. He doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable like that and ruins reputation to never get tired. He always get to look fresh in the final rounds. But I think the cardio gets a lot of things more. And the pressure was insane. But he's getting the pressure. He wants to be like something like the best coming up there. And I know I have some issues with the camera, which I understand that somehow isn't not working at all. So let me just grab it all, visit it off of the camera because I know real life. So there you go right now. So now we go right now? Yeah. Yeah, we are good right now, but whoops. They're still all over the game. All right, so I know that who could be made it at all. Everyone in the division is going to be really happy, but they have really had a finally a chance to win a belt. But I mean, they should be guaranteed after finding another prospect instead of waiting. But they have to make some like adjustments for everything. But the best career decision is going to be so much very interesting that they have the same energy like they all do. It's getting like really close enough, but it's going to be really sharpening it off for the defense on the strike lead. I mean, Corey called it off a couple of times with some big shots, and Corey doesn't have the same power. But we're not going to say that Marav is going to be really bad at all, so it's not going to be. But there are some clear holes with this game. I know he's a good fighter, but he needs to learn and understand about the game plan that he wants to do. I know he wants to do, but it's sometimes they need to get prepared all around this. They need to get prepared all around this. Not saying I become cutting one for those days, but grappling is really good. But in the striking, there are some times that they can really caught with the big shot, which I know is going to be really sometimes really difficult to hang it at all. So that's what is going to happen like in the next few years, or probably in the next few months. Probably at all. All right, so do you guys see me the camera? Because I know sometimes it doesn't work at all because they have some glitching over there. Yep, they have some glitching over there. So let me just get it to put on another thing coming up there. All right, so next up, we got Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. And boy, I'm gonna tell you for this right now. I mean, that fight between Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev, like I said, folks, I told you so. I told you so. Because that fight, it was just like amazing at all. It was just like, man, I was like completely out of control that I wasn't going to really expect it at all. Really expect it. Because I didn't know what was going to happen between for like the fight. And Alex Pereira just became like the Poitin, making his triumph return against Magomed Ankalaev. And he really dominates at all. He really dominates at all. And always Shama time. And people never forget that the moment that we don't see like everything before, because he has now, to be honest, right now, he has right now like how defeated 6 UFC champions in under 4 years. I mean, that was like really important to see how much they're gonna do about it. And I would love to see that. I would love to see that. And oh man, I know the camera is still not going working it at all, which is like definitely not in the good ways, but it feels like, man, this is happening like in our own life, which is like, well, happens in it all. Happens in it all. But I really understand it about like the fight between Carlos Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. I thought that Magomed Ankalaev could have this rematch, could have the win at all to take over the title. But as always, it's always Alex Pereira to take all the moment. And man, there was taken advantage at all. I mean, it was not too bad because people who say he lost too many times, but they say when George St. Pierre is the GOAT who lost to worse guys than Pereira did, and he'll bench every loss basically apart from Izzy, who is 3-1 against. And it's clearly he better fought everything could happen at all. And I was just like, clearly the better than anyone he ever fought. I mean, to watch this, it was just like absolutely beast at all. Between for the winning, they will revive the UFC. I mean, and down well, because this is gonna be really, really happening at all. Because this is one of the best things that ever happened. I mean, win or lose, there was like a glorious Pereira era, and it was like awesome when it was lasted. I mean, I think that's one of the most unique things about like light heavyweight that's giving us for like all these champions. And he got revenge coming up there. I mean, for me, it's one of the most entertaining fighter that we ever see ever happen at all. Ever happen at all. Because some people didn't really like it. But it seems like he broke a lot of records. Broke a lot of records. I mean, a cold so long would make it like top 5 if it gets to heavyweight gold. I mean, I know DJ, which is George St. Pierre, Silva, Jones has significant worse tag resumes over the course of like entire career, but his resume of 4 years has been insanity. 2 division champion, 3 certificated down for the heavyweight. I mean, there's 3 defense, 7 wins over former champions, all between 15 fights. And I was just like, did that just really happen at all? I mean, that fight, it was just like, man, I was like completely out of control because everybody thought that that fight could be really, 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 really over. But it feels like they all happen a lot. They all happen a lot, and when you see everything about the leg kicks, really set it up. I didn't want to see that Magomed couldn't walk afterwards. And the third kick would cause him for the leg stances. Then he hit the left leg, throw several kicks in a row. Ankalaev dropped his hands. Then he got to for the nasty big right hand. It was just like a great setup. It was just like a great setup, which is like, man, that was like really insane that I just looking to repeat one over and over and over and over again. And I thought Magomed Ankalaev key was to be the wrestling, like most of the Dagestan fighters. But he looked scared the moment that he came charging him. He wasn't prepared to be back up like that, forced Ankalaev to be timid and land the perfect right hand. It was pretty much the perfect game plan to Alex. And he was like the same man who rallied with the last round, with the first fight, which he didn't perform like he was there. It was just like 50-50. And he would just like really behave that they had the same willpower that they got for like the belt. And I was just like blowing out of my mind. But there was just like a perfect revenge. They all came through in the city of Las Vegas. It was just like a picture perfect at all. Just like a perfect picture. Salute to Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights. Salute to you. Salute to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And of course, we got Asa, Super Saiyan Young Tree, Vegeta, as known as, well, Piano Man. But yeah, I just wanted to say hello to there. Yep. And to be honest, right now, I just wanted to keep an eye on this comments. I don't know if it's good or it's bad, but I'm going to keep the eye on it. Because if it's troll, well, you might know one of the moderators, the channel moderators, going to put all the attention right now. So I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to hear all for like those bad comments, which is trolling and everything, because everything happens in life. Everything happens in life. So, and I know that sometimes the camera doesn't work. It happens all the time in life. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about this right now. So there you go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the UFC Rio de Janeiro fight night on Saturday, which is 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific time. It is going to be like a perfect time to sing Samba, Sergio Mendes, a lot of this one, Anita coming up there. Yeah, because this is like the perfect city, Rio de Janeiro, to watch soccer, samba, and a lot of greatness at the UFC. Because this is like the country. Brazil is a country where legends born. Yep. Where legends born everything. All right, so I'm gonna preview like two of the amazing fights. Two amazing fights coming up there at UFC Rio de Janeiro. So I'm gonna preview the co-main event and then the main event, because I know there are some people want to sleep coming out there, but I have to keep it off at the time right now. But yeah, I know that I'm drinking Pepsi right now. All right, so the co-main event, they got Davidson Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson. Now, Davidson Figueiredo is coming up for a tough loss against Chris Hagen. And to further highlight how tough the fight was for him, it was pretty much incapable of walking out of the cage since Sanhagen injured Figgy's knee to the torn ligament. Now, the ligament required no surgery, but it doesn't know nothing to anyone's confidence in Figueiredo since he's been injured by the age of 37, which is normally a sign that your career is leading to the end. And even worse than that, that fight happened 5 months ago. So real enough time to fully recover a knee injury like that, or pretty much has hindered the camp. Now, with the fact that it's weight cut, there are so many unknowns for the outside for the figure that really concerns it at all. Now, for Montel Jackson, I know something that he's coming up with the most impressive career with a decision over, at the time, undefeated Peruvian fighter Daniel Marcos, and that was like an excellent display of Eddie Marcos, with a bunch of the beating on the ground, as Jackson was really adapt to everything that Marcos did. The problem that all the fans had with Jackson, striker defense. It really ran through the moving back and reaching every other way, and often that happens with a shorter fighter engage Jackson with that style that they really crash forward and through something that'll go for the top down, or body lock attempt with Jackson's quick the down block instead of the takedown, using the height and the reaching and like the underhooks and reverse position. Well, it might happen against Figueiredo. I still wonder if Jackson Chin is very good enough to sort of clean up a hand against Figgy, since Figgy will need to crash forward to cover the distance. So they will put a hand on the scoreboard. So give me Montel Jackson decision, round number 3. All decision at all. Salute to True Raider coverage. Salute to you. Also, shout out to Raiders Resistance, as now as press. And boy, he just sent me off for like It just sent me off with an image with a hair coming up there. I was just like very impressive at all. I was just like, man, because I can show up the image, but it's gonna be like really, really good. But all right. So the next stop, I got to review the main event. Charles Oliveira versus Matheus Gamrot. Originally, it was Rafael Fiesev, but he was out. But for me, Charles Oliveira coming up for a brutal knockout loss against Hilo Tuporia. And that was 4 months ago. His chances to get knocked out with his first fight is rather slim since Gamrot isn't exactly a striker. He's much shorter, which compared to Oliveira. But I think that Oliveira's launch for the fight remains tempting as the only one to three on the feet. And he will say I did not trust in how Oliveira will look at it this weekend. But I do think that he can pull off a knockout when he left his hands because, quite frankly, Gamrot has absolutely atrocious striking defense. And he has a chin whatever the habit left over for like Tesla Cybertruck. Now, the downside, well, Oliveira has very quiet, terrible takedown defense has been given because I know his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coming up there. And I was like getting really important. He was one of the best wrestlers at the right. So he wants to put them up. Wants to put them all right now, but it seems like, well, I know this completely, like really a lot, but probably is gonna make it happen. I mean, I just really think that the road to the victory is on the feet, but Gamma, on the other hand, has a direct road for the victory. So that's good for the wrestler to fight someone with fairly decent punching power, and that he witnessed all the power first with he literally has really rock and stuff for like all of his fights coming up there, which probably they get used to it. Probably just get used to it, and I know that sometimes the camera doesn't really work, so kaboom. So sorry about that. But if he can go to the wrestling, he's gonna be ahead of the scoreboards. He probably is gonna escape the inevitable guillotine that Oliveira will attack. But as long as the Gamrod is top control, he's going to like go into this fight. He's going up just 4 times or into the fight, which all means all the opportunities to Oliveira to get a line for strikes. And I know that's something that's gonna make it really happen very quick at all, but it's gonna be really short and sweet because everything is gonna happen all of this time. Because I know that Charles Oliveira is very perfect at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so he's putting off on guard, and Gamrod has a really dangerous game, considerably above the wrestling style. And I think the route to the victory is on the feet. But for me at that point right now, I really think that between all of these styles of Charles Oliveira, he wants to stay on the feet, but don't be surprised if we're gonna pull off for like, I don't know, a submission or a knockout or maybe a decision coming up there. But I do believe that has to go for like Oliveira. I don't know if it's really gonna really happen at all, but it's gonna quiet a little bit, but it seems like it doesn't really happen when it comes to like other fighters. Yep. Really happens to look at all for the fighters coming up there, which is like, man, it's getting a lot for the getting ball for the ladies right now, but it's just really, really different at all. Really different at all. And I just see like everything could happen, like everything at all. Because I've been seeing like the social media coming up there between for like Charles Oliveira versus Matheus Gamrot. And I've been seeing like some social media that say this probably make like Charles Oliveira less main event for now. Because to be honest right now, there's a social media comments, there's a lot of social media sources coming up there, but I understand that when he really talks with it, he really talks with it, because check out whatever the sources coming up there, which is Ugno. And he was saying he was pretty much close to retirement. And he was saying he wants to win this fight against Cameron. And everybody would that would love to see me versus Matt Holloway, but the baddest motherfucker title. And I won this for the last fight. So, which means that if he really needs to win against Macho Gamrot, then he wants to secure a fight against Matt Holloway for the BFF title. They really has to do enough. He's been fighting since 2008. Probably he's stuck it around longer than should have, but I was just like, man, after Zombie, Dustin, and now Charles thinking to go for like 3-0. He fought it long enough that those in the Hall of Fame face him for the primes. And I guess that makes sense at all. But probably if Charles Oliveira could win on his last fight on Brazil, probably he's gonna make it like the last fight on his career against Matt Holloway. It doesn't make any sense. Won the belt, below for everyone. He could have the right time to try enough into the sunset to be like a superstar in the horse racer. But everyone wants Matt Holloway for their last fight. Who's gonna pick it up for the last fight then? He picked himself if this was possible. Sometimes some of those fights really make no sense. But I know that the weight cuts combined for all the punches you receive, there's doing too much of them to this point. But I think if we're going to compare it to Matt Holloway to The Undertaker, Bird the Lava ones, they're going to be happy. We all know that they will give it like sort of fighting for like a happy ending. It depends at all. There'll be like the burst BMF5 between two former champions, unless you can count Dustin. But nobody gets really expected for like everybody else, because the last thing that I just wanted to see about it, they already had to do it. Because the fact that people call on Matt, he shows he owns the belt permanently. All this is just like trying to borrow it. And I couldn't believe that it just really happened at all. And salute to Agaton 1984, TMH 11, and Jose Hernando 33. Salute to you. But I really want to expect it, because I know it's coming really soon. Because he's one of my favorite fighters. And the nice thing that I might share with this one, but he got one of the most sincere careers if you ever seen around for like his ups and downs against the loser competition. Have this toughness question repeatedly and totally taking it off for a champion level to take it into his career. And then I couldn't think of everything at all. I was just like, man, I was like getting bold and not ever to expect him to be a champion, especially later his career. That's where the game really started. He's been over, he was 20. 20 stable, I hope he's to get a mass rematch regardless of the outcome with Gamrot. And so not everyone's going to be really finished at all. But I would love to see like Charles Oliveira versus Matt Holloway for the last time. And everyone's wanted to share it to you. They're going to happen at all. They're going to happen. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, and after all the technical issues around for the camera, because I know the microphone is still working good, the camera doesn't really work it at all. But thank you very much to having us for this episode of the Combat Club. I know my co-host on your Senate is pretty much busy, because I know that I was working since like 10 a.m. until 9 p.m., which is really crazy at all, which is really crazy. And I know that I was like taking a moment, taking a break from the social media, taking a break from streaming to focusing on about my mental health, family, friends, and of course, everything, because I know family and mental health is pretty much first. And I know that sometimes it's not that really easy at all. If you had a mental breakdown, reach out to your old friends. Reach out to your friends until it's late. Because I know that sometimes it's not going to be really easy at all. But you had to reach out your friends. Call them. Send a message. Send a text message. Reach out. Because if you have mental breakdown, you need help. Reach out to your friends, to your family. And if there's one friend who really check you out during the text message, you know you're doing right. And everyone wants to take a break all around for like this one, because let's just forget all the bad things and let's just want to move all the good things. All the good things, and never look back. Never look back in bad, because it's always going on moving forward. It's always going to move forward. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to tell you thank you very much to having us for this episode of the Comic Club. I'm back, well, tomorrow, which is Friday 9 a.m. with Straight Outta Nation, which I recap between Las Vegas Raiders versus Indianapolis Colts. And then I'm just going to doing the preview between Las Vegas Raiders versus Tennessee Titans. And have you ever seen the New York Giants and Los Angeles Dodgers get something really in common? They just won against Philadelphia Sports, because first and foremost, New York Giants, along with Cam Scatterville and Jackson Dart, they just won against Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. And Los Angeles Dodgers, they just won and they eliminated the Philadelphia Phillies for the division series. It must be like one of those rough nights for the Philadelphia sports, but let's just see what happens right now. Let's just see what happens right now. All right, so I'm out of here right now. So I will see you there on Friday, 9 a.m. with Straight Outta Nation. And of course, this weekend, I'm going to provide UFC Rio de Janeiro Fight Night, 7 p.m. And of course, on this Sunday, I'm going to provide 2 games. First of all, Las Vegas Raiders versus Tennessee Titans at 4 p.m. And then Sunday Night Football between Kansas City Chiefs versus Detroit Lions. So thank you very much, and I will see you there Friday morning, 9 a.m. Don't forget to subscribe to Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. So thank you very much. See you there. Gracias totales, and I will see you there next time. Peace out.